All right, hello. We are with our astrology study group, and I'm just going to jump right in. I think this is one of these key times in history on many levels, and we've had a few of them. Did I hear the other day that there's some aspects in here that was not around since Alexander the Great, and that was so many years, BC. So, I mean, we have cycles within cycles, but some of the stuff is very interesting. And with today's technology and computers, I mean, we can go back and look at this. We can see these cycles and when they occurred and how they line back up. It's just totally fascinating to me. So I'm going to start and unpack this a little bit. God, where to start? I think I'm gonna start here on the 18th, which was yesterday. Today is the late in the day on the 19th, but there's so much here. Let's just start over on this side and really dig in this. And I'm going to reference, this is one book we looked at before, PowerPoints in Time by Paulden Jenkins, P-A-L-D-E-N, Paulden Jenkins, PowerPoints in Time and How Time Passes. Ancient festivals, lunar phases, planetary lineups, and historic moments. It's really a good book. I like it in many ways. And I think I had to order it from the UK, I believe. I don't think it's the United States yet. It may be because I've had it several months. But anyway, it's very good. And in this, in one of the things in the chapters, he talks about, he just goes through the planet, like the sun with the sun with Mercury, sun with the moon, sun with Mercury, sun with Mars, sun with Venus, sun, going all of those. And he gives you the big major, what those interactions of energy are like. And I'm going to read some of these, last time we were reading some keywords and some big concepts. So I'm going to do this, but continue with his, because I think this is important. And then enough astrology to know to tweak it to the aspect. So if we're looking at something and I'm reading these, and it's an opposition, you're going to think a little bit of the shadier side of these, or if it's a square, a little bit more edgy ones. So I think this will help kind of cement in some of these meanings, but this is really good. And I want to try to do this as we go along through this, because this is just crazy. This is just so much. And the nature of what's going to start happening, and it's kind of starting now, but it's going to be like slipping on a banana peel. It's going to come up fast and quick. And then next thing you know, you're going to be on your ass. It's sort of that kind of a whole bunch of events. So I want to slow it down here so we can watch in slow motion what part of history that's going to unfold in front of us. All right. So first thing first, here we're seeing these 27-degree opposition here with Mercury and Pluto. And I just put it to, it's not to the minute. That's okay. I just want you to start, having a visual of something while I'm talking to you. And I hope you can see my screen. I think you are seeing the event chart of July 18th. So we see this opposition here, and we know that Mercury is kind of that neutral type of planet. The mythology, what was the mythology of it? When Persephone had to go into Hades, Jupiter sent Mercury. Jupiter couldn't go. He couldn't reach into those inner realms because it's, further out. And it sent Mercury as a messenger to Hades. So Mercury can go to the depths and come back out and bring information, go to the depths, come back out, where a lot of the other planets can't, on that mythological level. So what does that mean? I think it's symbolically because it circles the sun so fast, it doesn't get stuck and it doesn't stay in hell. It goes and looks and it brings back the information, goes and looks and brings back the information. So that's what's happening with this. And as you notice, it's ahead of the sun. It's at 27 degrees Cancer. And then the sun is behind it at 25. So in 2 days, the sun will catch up with Mercury and then also oppose Pluto. So we've got, just as an overview before I read a little bit of Paulden's stuff, just as you can see that Mercury, the sun is starting to shine onto Pluto, right? I mean, it already is, but it's kind of like you think of it sort of the sun's rays are it's opposing that. And it's, 20, look, it's like right there. and then especially today, but there it's 26, almost 26 degrees, shining a light onto the depths of hell. Mercury's opposing it first. So Mercury's going to go get that information, and the sun is there, and it's like holding the light for it. It's like when you're trying to work on something, you got a buddy holding the light, while you're messing with your screwdriver, trying to do that in, somebody else holding the light for you. So that's kind of what's happening. So I feel right now we are going to see a huge mass of information coming out. It's going to be, Mercury's going into the underworld, and it's going to, and it's doing it in Cancer too, by the way. It's going into the underworld in Cancer. And as soon as then it moves into Leo, which is just a couple days, I'll show you as I move forward, then it's going to be wanting, it's going from, Mercury's all about communication. So it's going to shift from feel, it's one kind of a feel, in the gut to moving it up to the heart, but also to the emotional level. So it's going to be then, it's going to be louder at telling people what we know, or what's known. So I'm speaking on a collective level, and then you can filter this down into your life, but I have to kind of speak just more collectively to kind of get the bigger picture of this, because it's kind of different for everybody. If you have some at 27 degrees and at the cardinal signs, it's going to mess with you more than if you don't. So anyway, so it's going to grab information and start to bring it out from the gut. And I think a lot of it's going to be revolting. I think this is going to be revolting because Mercury is now in Cancer, in that gut area, and it's going to get that information, and it's going to be opposing. And then in a few days, it's going to transition into Leo along with the sun. And then it's going to all be all about shining the light on something that, shining the light on something. And then a lot of is going to come out, and it's going to be, how do I say it? It's going to shine the light such that you can't unknow it. You can't not know it. You can't not know it anymore. There is no mistake. There's a criminal conspiracy. It's not a theory. They've been conspiring for taking down humanity. And it's finally, the zit is going to burst. That's the best way I can do it. It's going to be like a huge ass pimple popping. And I'm sorry to get so graphic about it, but I think forewarned is forearmed. It's kind of like being at a Gallagher. If you remember old time Gallagher, if not, if you don't know who he was a comedian way back when, that would have this huge sledgehammer and stuff, and he would smash fruit and fish and different stuff, and it would smack all over the audience. So if you were in the front row and didn't have gear, you had, you just got smacked off with food all over you. But anyway, it's that kind of a moment. So here we go. We read a little bit here while we're looking at this. So sun, let's look Mercury first. So Mercury and Pluto. Mercury and Pluto. Now, keep this in mind here. Profound thought, research, investigation, and detection, Mercury and Pluto. Hidden agendas and concealed meanings. Raw honesty, secrecy, and secrets breaking out. Exposure, subterfuge. Mental breakthroughs, strong ideas, and forceful words. Persuasion and victims. Shame, taboo ideas. Issues around mental violence or victimhood. Con trickery, scamming, fraud, manipulating ideas, fear of exposure, mental breakdowns, flare-ups, and cover-ups. Time for some hard talk or facing tough, tough issues. All right, then Sun, Pluto. Let's look at that one because that comes right next. It's going to oppose it. So think about the sun happening just right after. I mean, it's like the next day, probably tomorrow, actually. Sun and Pluto. Things can get heavy, ominous, and portentous. Something is rumbling, and whatever is under the surface is fermenting and wants to get out. Time is up, and blowback is potentially high. Stuff comes up, bringing possible confrontations or perhaps a ripening of the inevitable. Cruel realities strike. So that's why I think people are going to be hit with some brutal red pill. Big time for red pill. There's a possibility of breakdown or breakthrough, and nothing much in between. Now I'm thinking also there could be possibility of power outages, all that kind of stuff. We'll talk more about that, but wanted to say it here as we get into the Uranus stuff, but we'll note here. There's possibly a breakdown, a breakthrough, and nothing much in between. Unless it's avoidance of the key question at hand, it's time to face the ghosts, ghouls, and unmentionables. If we avoid acting in integrity by concealing our dirty secrets, cruel and hard outcomes will eventually arise. And we can see that this definitely going to be happening. Unwanted rubbish, sludge, and crap threaten to foul things up, but there's a purgative cleansing element here too. Undermining or blasting anything that holds back movement. Potential power, charged encounters, revealed secrets, split blood. Okay, I guess like brother versus brother. All right. Clearing the air and do or die transformation. It all depends on whether the truth or cover-ups prevail. Remember, you have to bend the meaning. So the opposition here is going to be that cover-ups are going to be trying their damnedest right here for sure. A cruel bulldozing force and confrontation with resistance, but there's something liberating and clarifying to it too. Cobwebs and rumble are cleared. Sometimes we simply need a new start to get dreadfully real. Ooh, I like that. Dreadfully real. I want to get dreadfully real with you. Okay, time for getting down on awkward issues, making things work, or alternatively dropping them. Wow. I mean, this is just this, and we barely got started. All right, let's move on here. Yeah, let's just move on because we noticed I have to notice Venus now just moved into Cancer. So it was in all over the place, values everywhere and stuff in the mental Gemini. Now it's moving into Cancer as the other two planets move out. But anyway, all right, the 18th, it's there. And let's also, well, look back here. Okay, so the moon also, because Venus now entered Cancer, we got the moon as it went into Aries is going to conjunct Jupiter and square Venus. So, we got little, I don't want to go heavily into the moon issues because it's daily, that's aspects, but this is just interesting because these two actors are also in the picture in a little while again. But anyway, it's kind of foreshadowing. All right, let's go to, oh, this is ours. Let me go day. Let's go the next day. Okay, the 29th. The moon node just moved back into, it went from 19 to 18, the north node, well, more north and south node, but it's just now, the north node is just now starting to back into Uranus. OMG. So this is today. We have that, and then we have the sun now just about walking into its opposition, like later on, and as it goes into tomorrow. So we've got now got the north node of walking forward, of where things come in, where we take in energy, ingest, almost have things shoved down your throats kind of energy. Again, Judith Hill talks about the nodal points as, power outages and power surges. So here's where we're gonna have a surge, and then, the opposite, the Scorpio, would be the outage. But anyway, here's where it's going into Uranus, and this is part of some of this explosive stuff that's happening. All right, now why is this? Okay, where is that? Okay, anyway, here, July, there we go. Okay, so we've got our opposition. What else I want to show you with this over here? There we go. All right, and the 20th. It's almost there. What else was coming on here? All right, what else here? Now coming into the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. This setup doesn't show you these, but I have notes on that. There's a few half squares coming on. There's like a half square. We have 45 degrees. So we have, have one with Mars over here and Neptune. Boop, where's Neptune? Should be real close. Why am I not seeing? So here we go. Gosh. Okay, Mars and Neptune. So we've got a half square, and that's, half squares are kind of like anxious, annoying, problematic, things that you can't really solve right now. And we get, again, Mars, in a fixed sign. And then with this delusional Neptune. So it's like Mars is wanting to get earthy and Neptune's still all, I don't know. It's like, to me, this is kind of like forceful lying, outright lying kind of things. And then on the personal level, it's like acting, you're not consistent with where you want to go. Mars wants to have the value and go, but Neptune is all nebulous. So it's like, just you can't get started maybe. And then let's see, Venus and Uranus, another half, whoops, there we go, another half square there. And that's kind of like pushing the boundaries too much. Venus values Uranus, sudden, new, pushing, the expansive, and it's just, it could be a little over the top, little pushy on that. But the bigger one that I want to point out is Jupiter over here in Aries, and then Saturn in Aquarius. Now, the interesting thing about this one is, again, it's a half a square, but this is the first kind of hard aspect between these two since they were conjunct, at 0 degrees when they first together walked into Aquarius. When was it? On Christmas 2020. All right, so they were together. Now, I don't want to move the thing, but when Saturn was at 0 degrees, and then of Aquarius, and then Jupiter was just entering, when they were coming out of Capricorn. Remember, we had all that triple conjunction and all that stuff in Capricorn. So this is like the first lovers quarrel kind of between this energy. It's a half a square, but it's like the first conflict that's coming up to reiterate the expansive Jupiter versus the contractive Saturn. Jupiter's like it's unstable, it's too much, it can be too fast, too many opportunities coming at, especially in Aries. And then versus contractive Saturn, they want to be slow and stable. It's a little fearful and then slower and cautious. But it's in an expansive sign, it wants to go with the people. So it's really kind of conflicted. So that stuff is happening. But then we see now here, the sun is now just opposing, on the 20th, opposing Pluto right here. So we got these half squares, and this is all unfolding. And then we've got the sun opposing Pluto, and now Mercury has walked into or bounded into Leo, and it's starting to get vocal. So we can watch this wind up, and this is only 2 days, and I'm already like 20 minutes into this, and I think I'm trying to move pretty quick here. All right, so this is a lot. All right, so what else is going on now? See, the moon, the moon is just going to add insult to injury. So over here, we've got the moon when it hits, at this time tomorrow, it's 10:30 in the morning on the East Coast. The moon will then now be squaring the sun, and then as it moves, forward and out, it will then square Mercury. So the emotions are now going to get into that. I think people are going to see or be stirred up about something or many things. It's hard to say. And then there's the whole stuff with Chiron, which we haven't gotten into a whole lot, but that's in the picture, that wounded healer, that wounds being reopened and healed and looked at. All right, let's move forward. We got a few more days to go. So we've got the 23rd. Let's look at that. 23rd, we've got waiting for his Mercury. What the heck? Okay, we'll go back a second. All right, 23rd. Mercury is actually starting to form a trine over here to, where we go, Mercury, boop, It's starting to form a trine over here, Mercury at 8 Leo, over here to Jupiter at 8 Aries. So they're, trining in the fire sign. So we have, news, opportunities, communication, things expand. Okay. We've got, again, we remember Mercury was wanting to bring the information out, and then Jupiter's just going to really go, oh, here you go. Here's a big speaker and a loud horn for you. So we've got that happening on the 23rd and 24th. What else here? And then we got, where's Venus? Venus says, let me go ahead a day. Then Venus starts to square right here, 24th and late 24th, 25th. Now Venus, being in Cancer, is going to start to square this. So we've got potential, overindulgence, or you can overeat or overdrink or overexercise or overextend, or you take a little bit forward too fast, too far. So this is another stepping forward too fast, or things happening too fast, too far. There's a second or third one happening. So this is kind of a theme here. Be cautious on a personal level, that you think through things. If there's deals or things come up, somebody wrongs you, you have some opportunity. I mean, things can come up really fast in many ways. So just heed that. It could be good, and you can go with opportunity. If they're good aspects with you, like here, if you've got, you could see it's a double-edged sword, and it depends on the time. You could have things trining or squaring all at the same time here. All right, so this is the 24th. And then we still have the node getting almost perfect. Look at there, they're like 10 minutes apart. And then Mars is going ever closer. Oh, ever closer. But anyway, we had did I mention, do we see the Mars? Oh, we had the Mars, Mercury. Oh, well, it's close. Mars, it's close. So anyway, we got a close Mars, Mercury. When is that one? I'm gonna miss it. All right, like on the 20, there we go. Mars, Mercury, there we go. Okay, 26, yeah, late 25th, 26. There we go, Mars square Mercury. Oh, now we've got more overstating of boundaries. So this could be, I'm going to read some of the Paladin in just a second on these, but I just want to show you that some of the timeline with this and why we're picking on this. So now we have Mars and Mercury. I mean, yeah, we'll get that one next, because this is starting to get some of the odd theme of what we're going to see coming on here. So Mars and Mercury. Okay, I guess we have to go Mercury, Mars. Sorry. Yeah. Mercury and Mars. There we go. All right, so this one now, thinking about this in a few ways. Opinionatedness, strong ideas, rhetoric, debate, argument, competition for airspace, campaigns, elections. All right, so here it comes. We see the foreshadowing coming up a little bit. Negotiations, conflict versus diplomacy, treaties, shooting, martial arts, technical skill, acuity, accuracy, shooting, accuracy, implementation of ideas. I mean, there's always, those potentials for, like what started, what was it, World War I? When people are taken out by implementations of a quick moving force, false flags set up. Anyway, logistics, strategy, racing and speeding, sports, issues around competitiveness, interference, incursion, expressions of anger and frustration, motor mouth syndrome, separative and divisive views, time for saying some of those things you've not said before and making your point, and hearing others' message and truths too. So wow. So there could be a lot of debate, a lot of things coming out with just that one. Now let's also see, let's look at Mars and Uranus because they're going to be conjunct. So might as well look at that one while we're here. Let's look at Mars and Uranus. All right. So independence, separation, and division. Well, we know that where that's going. You know, there's a lot of things trying to divide people and trying to make an us versus them thing. Rebellion and rioting, impulsiveness, eccentricity, sudden shocks, explosions, blowbacks, landslides, storms, striking out, opposition, schisms, freedom fighting, issues around violence, protection, inconsistency, impatience, speeding, detachment and exclusion, distrust, not knowing your own strength, disrespect for elders and authority. It's a good time for clarifying what you're fed up with and striking while the iron is hot. This cycle is 1 year, 11 months long. All right, just want to point that out too. So this one, you know, Mars has like about a 2-year cycle, right? So it goes around and it's almost 2 years before it comes back with this. But this, if this were just the isolated, the only thing, I wouldn't be too concerned in its cycle, but we have so many things reinforcing this explosive Mars, slightly violent period of time at this point right now. All right, what else did I want to say? So we're also building up here to the new moon. And look at here, the moon, see, we got these interesting things. So now with this going on here, we got the moon in Cancer over, you know, going with Venus. So we have some interesting things with emotional values right around the same time too. All right, what else do I have over here? We have we said the Mars Mercury, and then we said we have the Mars Uranus. Okay, so now coming ever closer, 20, so let's just do the 28th, because well, let me go by some hours here, because this is cool when we actually see it, when they're actually lined up. There we go. Is that what I wanted else? Yeah. Okay. All right, so check this out. So Sun and Moon conjunct, and we have, excuse me, Mercury exactly squaring the node here, the nodes, actually both of them, north and south, and Uranus. And the sun, well, then the moon will, as it goes further into Leo, the moon will then square these trio over here. Excuse me. Okay, I hope I muted my cough. All right, so we've got the moon, got the new moon here, and we have this powerful square on the 28th. So let me also look at the moon. We gotta look at the moon with these guys too. So moon, because this is going to kick things off. We know the moon is a trigger. So we have the moon, Uranus. So that will be a square. So these guys thinking about that. Think about the square now with moon and Uranus. Separation, changeability, things moving on, insecurity, vulnerability, stirring and shaking, course changes and about turns, shakeouts, unsettling moments, tense atmosphere, divergence and proliferation, surprises and shocks, release and relief, issues around reliability, avoidance, trusting change and living with instability. Oh no. There's a need to be in touch with immediate needs, releasing the tendency to impose strings and requirements on life, and seeing the compensating factors in everything. Gales, thunderstorms, weather extremes. Oh no, there's a second one here now. Time for a tidy up or for trying something different. Tomorrow is another day. Reminds me of Gone with the Wind. And Tara, whatever. And it's good right now and to shake up ingrained habits. So sometimes, things have to be decrystallized patterns and things. But again, if this were isolated, just one or two, but we've gotten so many that this is very disconcerting. All right. We had the sun in there. We had the moon. And let's read Moon and Mars. You can just imagine Moon, Mars, because, we'll have that square there too. Moon, Mars, assertion to protect self, anticipation of attacks or adversity, defensiveness, insensitivity or hypersensitivity, stirring up trouble, sore vulnerabilities, close scrapes. Also indulgence and desire for satiation, sexuality, cravings and sensation, argument, rivalry, jealousy, overreaction. Oh, great. Now we can see what's going to instigate things here. It's awkward, but it's the stuff of life. Issues here involve fight or flight, wanting and aversion. Moon and Mars irritate and are allergic to each other. But through their scrapes and sores and sore points, we can still learn a lot. They can also be sensually enticing, indulgent, and seductive. Time for setting aside your ratty, tetchy side. I should read this with the English accent because that's, I think, how it should be meant. Time for setting aside your ratty and tetchy side, getting on with things and clarifying yourself and others, telling what you really want and how you really feel, with a little patience thrown in for good measure. Okay, so we can see how the stage of events can be very explosive and can be very very much of a once in a lifetime. Many ways we can see over and over, each one of these things is reinforcing these issues. And we know there could also be things with money or values, because we have all of this stuff in Taurus, and we know Taurus is to do with money or to do with values or stocks or currency or that. And so we could be also expecting maybe news of, going off, the dollar is not the the petrodollar anymore. Stocks could plummet. There just could be so many things with things devalued or values questioned, making, there's so many ways of money now, and it's all very conflicting and confusing, because we still have that Neptune in the picture. So, well, all right, to wrap some of this up and to make some, let's go on, because there's still a little bit more. There's still more. Oh no. Well, let's see, let's move on. The 28th. Okay, we could see how it's hours. Oops. Let's go to the days. All right, let's look at Friday. All right, it's like 5 p.m. And we can see here now the sun is breaking out. Mercury's already gone, over this. I mean, the moon is about to line up now with Mercury. So we have that stuff coming on after the new moon. Mars is getting ever closer. What else here? Let's go to the 30th. More things. Let's see. This month definitely builds to a crescendo. Hold on. There's more. Oh, go back. We got to go back to 28th. I know I forgot a couple things. 28th. Okay, so also the moon here is trining Jupiter. Then we have the sun. It'll move into it. So the moon here is where's Jupiter? Down here, 8 degrees. Oh, good. I have it just about right on the right time. All right. So moon. Mercury was there. So Mercury kind of foreshadowed when it was there what's going to be coming on. And then now the moon is going to be there. So the big, or that largeness of Jupiter will be having a conversation with the moon. So let's read moon and Jupiter. And then we can learn, then we can do, I want to make sure I got each one. There's like so many. So let's do moon, Jupiter, and then we'll do Mercury, Jupiter. Actually, let's do Mercury, Jupiter, because it happened first. So we'll do, well, here's moon. Actually, moon is right here. Let me do moon one right here. Moon, Jupiter. Well-being, fun, partying, pleasure, pleasantry, comfort, plenty, social warmth, membership and togetherness, motherliness, generosity, mutuality, shared understanding, issues around attachment and rewards, waste and consumption, consumptiveness, comfort, joy. I'm glad we got some good stuff kind of here. Conviviality or addiction. Oh, now I spoke too soon. Overconsumption and dependency. Time for friendliness and helping people out, since whatever is happening brings with it benign opportunities. It's the time for plenty and reprieve, but enjoyment is not the same as overdoing it. So we got a little bit of both of that. We got overdoing and we got joy. I think it just, again, it depends on where it's playing out, but you can see how it would all fit in. All right, so let's do that with moon. Now we want Mercury and Jupiter. Mercury and Jupiter, intellectualization, theoretical ideas, learned discourse, beliefs and philosophies, scriptural faiths, knowledge, considered judgments, opinions, conclusions, legal procedure, and jurisprudence. Oh, good. Agreements and transactions, markets, councils, parliaments, meetings, committees, conferences, gregariousness. This is interesting. Established ideas, prevailing memes. Ooh, prevailing memes. Okay. And conventional wisdom. Science as a belief system, marketing, advertising, propaganda, master plans. Petitions, donation support, issues around intellectuality, exaggeration, ivory towers. All right. So maybe some ivory towers are going to be coming down. Constant movement and activity, mental dominance, attending lectures, reading books, making journeys. All righty then. So we can see some where we've got a little bit more of how things, I mean, not everything's not all doom and gloom, but again, this is one of these odd times that are a change in history. We can see definitely where it's coming from. What else do I want to show you from here? See the new moon. Let's see, we had overamping, because it's expressive, it's from the heart, Leo. So also that overjoyed, that love feeling. So there could be a real heart opening. Maybe people really get it on one level and kind of come together. Something may make that happen. And then we also have here Mercury, starting to do the square. Well, we already said that square with Uranus and all these trio over here. So Mercury and, communicating about all of these values or all this money or all this upset or all this stuff coming over here. So like it just electrifying words. We may say things we don't mean, or, you could have a lot of thoughts and you might be thinking things too fast. You might be getting a lot of ideas. You might be getting downloads and, words and things might be coming fast to you. So be ready. There's definitely opportunity in here. You might have a pen and paper or to record yourself or other things or take pictures or something, because there may be lots of stuff coming here, lots of downloads. So be ready for that on one level, to take opportunities, and to right now know that it could be coming real hard and real fast. It's like, I don't know. What are those, the fast pitch at the baseball thing, when they throw the pitches at you, you can have slow, and then you can have the rate at being pitches thrown to hit are fairly slow, or you can have them faster, like bang, 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 bang. So that's what it's going to be like. Now, building to the crescendo of this month here. Where else do I got to tell you? So we've got building up now to the Mercury, boop, where is it? Yeah, so we've got the Mercury opposition. Whoop, go back one day. Right, there it is. And the moon, let me just go back a few hours because it's always in there. Give you a little bit. Boop, boop. And the 30th. Come on, moon. All right, so we got, well, all right. Okay, it's not going to be real sweet. All right, so let's do the 30th. Okay, so we got, anyway, the moon went over there. So, but we're seeing here on the 30th, we're seeing Mercury oppose Saturn. Okay, so we've got fixed ideas versus reality check, fixed ideas, Mercury in Leo, and then Saturn in Aquarius, reality check. So, this, and then the moon hitting that first, hitting, going and getting in the opposition to Saturn first, as I think a little foreshadowing of what might be going on. So let's look at the date. That's Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday. Let's go to the next day. Okay, so, and then the 31st, Sunday. So I think what we're going to see over that weekend, I think the moon, we're going to get some intellectual things happening first. I mean, the moon, I mean, some emotional. See, because like here on the 29th, Friday late, starts in the afternoon. See, the moon is here at 18. So it's going to go, let's do by hours. Okay, hours. So here we've got, so now the moon and Mercury are conjunct Friday night. And then they're just, the moon is going to go ahead of it, and then it will oppose Saturn first, right there. So this is like, real early in the morning, on when is it, the 30th, Saturday morning. So anyway, just wanted to show you. So what I think might be going on with this, so the moon is ahead. So the moon square or opposing Saturn first is going to be a little bit of emotional. I think we're going to feel some. I think those sensitive are going to get the foreshadowing of knowing something. And then the next day, Mercury will go and oppose that. And then the communications will come out. Look how close this is. Now, let me just go back to the day and bring you up one full day later. And there it is. See, because Saturn is retrograde, but it, is backing up. But look here, now the moon is flying. Look at one day. Look at it's like way into Virgo now. But look at here, Mercury, they're opposing it. So this is kind of like bringing the last part of the month. This is definitely making a crescendo here. More values, more things, on money, on values, on things, on the push-pull between expanding in a hurry and building it with integrity. All this is, I think, going to be bubbling up, and it's kind of like watching the pot. You want to make sure it doesn't boil over, and stirring it and attending to it, rather than just leaving it on a high and walking away. And I mean, things will just get out of hand. So I know this was quite a bit for 1 week, but I think this is one of these weeks in history that is going to be very interesting. And then, we'll see this next week. We'll talk about a little bit more as we're kind of still in the middle of it. We'll be on like the 26th next week. So we'll be in the interim as we're building up to that moon, and we'll be able to see a little bit how things go. But this is quite the time. This is quite, you can see how much is going on with this, with these areas. Sometimes things just hang out for a little while and move on, but we can see so many triggers, and again, moon is always a trigger, but how it kind of keeps foreshadowing things. We've got Mercury communications, we got Pluto, the depths, we've got the new moon, in Leo, we've got Leo coming from the heart, all of that, in the squaring, all of the stuff here in Taurus, earthy, values, money, the earth itself, weather, all these things. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up for today. And, everybody kind of keep an eye on things, have a tendency to slow yourself down for the next week. Maybe not make so many schedules, appointments and things, so you have time to process, stay out of harm's way, but use the opportunities that are definitely coming and being presented here. All right, I'm going to sign off and we'll see you all next week.